Hello and welcome to another video from the only channel that you need to not only survive the current apocalypse but actually enjoy it. And today we're going to be putting together my computer station. Now I've already made this video, but the first video turned into an hour-long production of me opening a box and looking at a little table. But I've gotten past that part now, and I think I'm ready to go ahead and shoot this time and get all the way through this. And first thing I'm going to show you is the foundation of the whole system. I just got this in yesterday, and it's Fleximount. This is one of those things like you see like in the hospital when the nurses are filling out their reports. They'll have a little, like a computer monitor and a keyboard. They'll pull that out to where they're comfortable, and they'll stand there and type up whatever they got to type up. So I thought, you know, I'll try to see if I could find this. And I've been looking at these things for probably 3 or 4 months as I awaited the arrival of my desktop. I haven't had a desktop computer in years, like laptops, because they're so light and portable, and you can take them anywhere you want to go, and it's easy to get them situated to where you can reach your keyboard and still see the monitor, which is important for me. I've got 3 pairs of glasses. One is for close-up, one is for distance, and then I had a special pair made at the VA that's for my monitor. They're called, I think they're called monitor glasses. But they actually measured me to see how far the monitor would be from my face. That's what they made them for, and I have found since then that if the monitor is 1 inch farther away or 1 inch closer, it goes out of focus, and within 2 inches I cannot see. So it's very important for me to be able to place the monitor where I can comfortably see the thing without having to bend over or lean back or any of that kind of stuff. So I got this. And it was $38, and when it came in and I showed it to my wife, she said she wanted one. I said, like, okay, 38 bucks, I'll get you one. And when I went online to order, it was 24. So if you want one of these things, right now, it's only $24. But I do recommend that if you get this, that you have a very, very sturdy table that you're willing to drill a hole through. And we'll talk about that in a minute, because that's a lot of why this was such a big deal. The actual bar that holds this thing together is a really, really sturdy. This is a super high quality thing. I can't believe they can sell them for 25 bucks, $24 and whatever, shipping, whatever. But when I got it, this had a clamp down here. And the whole plan was to put this on my table and clamp it down and be done with it. And if I ever wanted to get rid of it, I'd still have a perfectly intact table. Well, this bar here restricts the way that you can put your mounting arms on it, so that your keyboard has to face this direction and your monitor has to face this direction. And the way the clamp was on there, I could only clamp this on the far side of the table, so I still wouldn't be able to see it. But fortunately, even though I'm a man, sometime I will read the instructions, and on the instructions it had a method of mounting this without the clamp, where you just drill a hole. So I've already removed the clamp from this end and replaced it with this backing plate, and this was actually part of the clamp arrangement. And here's a big reason that it took me so long just to get nothing done the other day. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a line here where I carefully measured exactly where I wanted to put this thing, but the screw hole is here. And the reason for that is that when I went to install this thing wasn't hitting on the table. It was hitting over here on this brace, which would be crooked, which wasn't going to work. So I just had to move it over a little bit, and what I decided was to put this facing that way, because I imagine that most of the pressure, the weight, is going to be over there, and perhaps the best way to mount this would be with it long sideways. So that's what we're going to do. Oh. There you go. Okay, so anyways, we're going to get started with this project. Since all the drilling's done, this part is just going to take about a minute. I drilled this hole really tight, so I guess the first thing I'm going to have to do is screw the bracket through the hole before I do anything else. There's put the bolt, thumb bolt through the hole. Get it up a little bit so it'll go in deep enough to catch on the threads. Almost. Let's see. The slot has to be on the outside. I want the monitor to face that way. So we're going to do this. Okay, this thing is bottomed out and it still ain't tight, so I don't know what they plan on doing here. Oh, okay, there's a nut there. Didn't realize that. Okay, back this out enough to turn this thing. You see, are y'all pointing the right direction? I guess you can see that. Okay. It's bottomed out, so now it's got a nut on there. Looks like about, what's that, 5/8. You know what, I don't want to stop what I'm doing to go get a bolt or a wrench and then find out the wrench ain't the right size and go get another wrench. So we're just going to tighten it by hand, put it all together. And then after I turn the camera off, I'll get something to tighten that down. There is a, and I kind of messed with all this. Here's a monitor that we're going to be using. Now, I cleaned it. I should have left it, but it had $6.99 up here because I got this at Goodwill. And if you go to Goodwill or Salvation Army or any kind of salvage store, they're always going to have a whole bunch of these monitors because when computers burn up and people throw them away, they'll always bring the monitors, the keyboards, the mice, and you can get them for nothing because Goodwill is has hundreds of them, and they know they're not going to sell them for top dollar. Plus, this is obsolete technology now. These old monitors are not like the monitors you can buy today, and a lot of times it may be that people will just throw the monitors away because they want something that's more Energy Star compliant or clearer or bigger or something. So, anyways, this is what's going to eventually go on this. I know this goes on first. This is just a little knick-knack to make it look pretty. Alright, and then I know that the computer table goes on first. And I've already screwed this together. There's when you get it, this table isn't connected to this. And it's got a little elastic strap that I guess you could take it off if you don't want it. But we'll leave it just to see how that works out. And there's a square end on this thumb screw. Wait, there was another thing that went on here first, so I'm going to go ahead and put those on. If I can find them, if they're even do anything. I don't know that you even need them. And this is basically the same kind of a rig. I won't tighten anything down for the time being because we don't really know where we want this stuff. I imagine that I want my monitor right on top, so it'll be out of the way of my keyboard. I don't want my fingers bumping into my keyboard or into my monitor. I got this up. Yeah, I was looking at it. It says that these need to be on the bottom. That makes sense structurally because it looks kind of like a bottom brace. So if you put it upside down, that ain't gonna work. You probably could still. Yeah, so you could be easy to confuse it. No, it won't turn. Yeah, okay. It can only go one way. You'll figure it out if you get one. Okay. Yeah, I can see why that little plastic collar would be on there. It's really already putting a stop to it. No, it ain't. Oh, there's a plastic collar on the inside of this too. I was looking at that thing I just stuck on there. So I guess that'll be the same on the other deal. We'll just leave that right there. Tighten it just to make sure. Just tighten it a little bit. Yeah, I'll show this to you close up. Yeah, obviously, they got little buttons on the top so that it looks good because you can't see the bottom. See, the bottom's just a nut. It's kind of ugly. But on the inside, there's a plastic collar in here, and I guess that helps to hold it up. So we'll put that on. Can already tell I missed my first step in this process. Since I've become a hippie, that's the first thing to do is always to tie my hair out of the way so it don't be dropping in my face when I'm looking down. Alright, so we got this other collar on there. We'll just, I'll put it right down here. And I'll just keep the thing from sliding past that. We'll adjust all of this later. Actually, I think the first thing I need to do is, before I even put this on that main spindle, is to take this monitor off of this stand. Now, it's something I'm just kind of figuring out. I think I've already looked at it. It looks like it's going to fit. But I took these screws off at the bottom of this thing, and I took these off, and when this whole plate came off, there's actually 4 screws in a square pattern there. And I looked at several other monitors that I have here, and they all seem to have that. It's almost universal. And I think that pattern is exactly the same on every monitor up to a certain size. So, in general, if you get a really cheap, really small monitor, that it will work with this really cheap stand. That's one of the reasons it's not a good idea to have a expensive monitor, because then you can't get this $25 stand, and it probably turns into something like, I don't know, $150, $250. Okay, there is the bottom. So we want this like that. I need to get my screws so I can put those in here. One in each corner. Just get one started and you can let go of that arm. Concentrate on aiming your screws. Alright. Now don't tighten them down. These things, it's always best to leave everything loose until you get all of them in. Then you can tighten them down. If you tighten one down, and if it's not exactly right, the rest are going to be out of alignment and you won't be able to even get them in. Okay, but now that we got them in, we'll just go around. And just kind of let them see. Alright, that looks pretty tight. So, hopefully, here we go. I can put this on here. Alright, it's got to go like this. Be cool. Got to line these doohickeys up with that slot. Now, like I said, I want this at the very tippy top, so we'll go ahead and tighten this one down. We ain't got the other one tightened down yet because we got to measure it to make sure it goes over the arm of my recliner, because that's where I'm going to be using that. And I guess while we got, you know, it looks like I may have put that in upside down. Let's see if the other one's upside down. No, it's right side up. Okay, so we ain't got to do but one. That was right. Now I want it to be right. Just so you know, this thing is tapered. So it's got a skinny part and a fat part. So, which means we want the skinny part down because the bearing face of it is going to be the fat part. Oh. See if you can see that. See, it's got a fat edge here and a sharp edge here. So you want it facing up so that the weight of that articulating arm is going to be sitting on the fat part. Let's restart it. Tell you what, if this works out the way I think it's going to work out, this is going to be the coolest part of the whole deal. I love my computer, I love my camera. We'll do a video about that. But currently this is what's going to make it all work, because I cannot see. I mean, my monitor's got to be exactly the right spot. And I'll tell you another thing. I have had a computer table break one time. I was right in the middle of writing something pretty cool script for a YouTube video. And so I was trying to work off a TV tray. And until I got another laptop table, I absolutely could not write. Having that keyboard at an odd angle really caused some problems. Oh, we've got a lot of other little neat things here. This is just a little kind of a thing to finish this up, make it look good. And all of this is liable to change. Right now, my wife has got her Christmas tree in here. Show you my wife's Christmas tree. She likes to show it off. If I make a video in this room and don't show her Christmas tree, she'll be mad at me. And it is her Christmas tree, but I don't care if people think it's mine. You know, for years and years, I was a Jehovah's Witness, and I guess when I quit being a Jehovah's Witness, I didn't just give up on the Bible or give up on praying, give up on God. And so, things I wasn't sure of, I tried to do what was right. You know, it's like all of the rules that all the different churches have. If I wasn't sure that they were unscriptural, I stuck to them. And I personally knew that the Christmas was not based on anything in the Bible, so I avoided it. So much so that, like, if somebody was to call me and say, "Come on over for Christmas," I'd say, "No, I don't do that." And as time went on, these people were getting more and more. I don't know why it is that religious people are so obsessed with forcing everybody else to do the stupid stuff they do, but they are. And I remember one time my dad called me and said, "Hey, what are you doing this Thursday?" "Nothing." "Well, why don't you come on over and eat with us?" "Okay, sure, I'll do that." So I get over there, and it seemed like it was Christmas or it was Thanksgiving or something, but yeah, I think it was Christmas. So they had a tree up and it had all these packages, and it's like, "Here, we got something for you." I'm like, "Wait a second, you know I'm not going to celebrate Christmas." And I was like, "Wait a second, what is today?" "Oh, today is Christmas." "Well, you didn't say come over for Christmas. You said come over this Thursday." He goes, "Well, you know, it's nothing. It's just another day for us." I said, "Well, why did you just give me a gift with Santa Claus's picture on it?" You know, so I mean, they really obsess over trying to trick you into participating in their stuff. And eventually I just gave up. And I said, you know, I don't really care. If they're playing Christmas, and if they think sticking something in my hand means that I play Christmas, then I don't care. That's on them. It's not on me. And in fact, I guess for several years, right before we broke off our relationship with them, my in-laws would invite us over every Christmas, and they would just lavish us with gifts. I mean, they would lavish my wife with gifts. They would always give me stuff with pictures of Satan on it or whatever, and it would be $1 items, and then they would sit there waiting for me to give them something back, and I'm like, well, I don't play Christmas, so you're not getting anything. And they stayed mad at me, because it wasn't just enough to get me over there. They wanted me to, you know, voluntarily, actively participate in their thing. But anyways, you know what, here's the thing with this tree. My mom gave my wife this tree, but I was going to buy her one. I know she wanted a tree, so I was going to get her a tree. And she couldn't hook the lights up, so I came in and hooked the lights up for her. And, you know, it's not a big deal. You think about it, if you obsess over trying to stay away from religion, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And if you look back in the Bible, the only real example you can see of a holiday is the Passover that Jesus celebrated. So if Jesus could celebrate the Passover on the year that they were going to sacrifice him as the Passover lamb, you know, I can help my wife put some lights on a Christmas tree. But I can tell you this, if I lived by myself, that wouldn't be in my house. Alright, so now we got to test this out and see how comfy this is at my chair. So I'm going to go ahead and move this thing over. Push this on back. Now I went and got all my cables ready for this so I can show you how it works, but y'all know what a monitor looks like when it works, and that'll just make this longer and boringer than it has to be. So, yeah, I'll tighten that down. But you ain't got to worry about watching me running back and forth to the toolbox. Get in here and see how this works out. Like I say, I'll probably rearrange all this as soon as I get that tree out of here. Okay. This ain't gonna be quite what I want. Raise it up a little bit. Now this thing will allow you to adjust the angle, but my computer requires a cooling fan, which makes its own angle, and it's yeah, that's good. Perfection. And the cool thing is, it's easy to get out of the chair with this thing out of the way. I might as well go ahead and put my computer on there while I'm here. Okay, this is the cooling fan that I got from Walmart. It's like $10. These things are really cheap and they're really good. Because I've been through one summer from start to finish with this thing. And look at here, we can put that band over the base of the cooling fan, and it doesn't have to cover up my keyboard on my laptop. Now I said this is for a keyboard. We're going to show you how all that works in a minute. Okay, so there's that. And here is my laptop. And it's like thinking, why would I have a laptop and a computer together? I can't use both at the same time. Well, have no intention. Oh, let me put this thing where you can see what's going on. Yeah, it's great to have a little monitor on my camera facing the direction I want it to go. Yeah, see, here's my monitor being blocked by my laptop. Well, most of the problems I've had with computers in my life have been from viruses downloaded from the internet. And so I've kind of made the decision that I'm not going to use my brand new desktop editing computer for browsing the internet, because it's not that much better than my little cheap laptop. So I can browse the internet, write my scripts. I can do everything on these laptops. So, and that allows me the freedom of getting up and go in any room I want in the house, go out on the porch, go in the woods. Whereas this is going to have to always be here. This is too much stuff to move, so we're not going to mess with that. But I don't want to go online with that. So when I go online, I can just put this over here and do that. And here's how we're going to do it. That is a wireless battery operated keyboard. And I've already tried this out, so don't be surprised when it works, because I already know it's going to work. When I'm not using my laptop, I just shut it down and put my keyboard up here, and I'm in business with my, actually this ain't gonna work. It's really not gonna work. Oh, I'll put this down a little bit and see if that makes enough space. It's not that the monitor has to be able to pass over that, but at the same time, I kind of don't want these things bumping into each other. But I got another monitor. See, this has amplified speakers on the bottom of it. So I've got another one that's got the speakers on the side. I'll probably just put that there. I won't bore you with bringing that thing down here. But you know, this might just screw on too. If that screws on, that'd be great, because it's got two wires going into the speakers and two separate wires going into the monitor. So I may be able to just take this off. In fact, it looks like it should just fall off of there. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. So now I got a monitor, and I put this wherever I want, I guess. Actually, you know what? Let's look over here. I already know where this is going. Oh, you know what's really good about this? If I put these speakers right here, all the wires can be over there, and the only wires that have to come to this is the hot wire and the HDMI, or whatever not HDMI, whatever the VGA plug that goes into the monitor, and the power cord that goes into the monitor. And I've already got a extension cord to mount up under this table, so this can plug into that, and then I can just run one wire around to the computer. And the two wires that go into my speakers can actually be behind the computer desk, if I get that screwed in there. And I know I can. Shoot, I got it just pushing it down tight against there. This will be a really firm mounting spot. And, oh yeah, look at that. See, I've got a separate keyboard there. And the reason I even have the separate keyboard and mouse is I had an old antiquated computer upstairs. It's got them oddball plugs. And this computer just happens to be old enough to still have those kind of plug-in places on the back of it. So I can have a monitor and mouse over here to go along, supplement my wireless mouse and monitor, or mouse and keyboard on this side. And the cool thing is if I'm working with my laptop and I just gotta like answer a Skype call or something, or do whatever I have to do on this other computer, just reach over and do that without having to break out my wireless mouse and keyboard. Now here's something that I just thought about. When I bought this thing, I always, no matter what you buy, if it's electronic, I don't care if it's an answering machine or a computer or a toaster, before you leave a Goodwill or a Salvation Army, you need to go check, and you need to check and make sure that whatever you're buying has everything with it. And as a you know, just as a example, all monitors have got a place to plug in your power cord and a place to plug in your VGA cable. Well, they sell those cables in the Goodwill for 99 cents. So if your conscience bothers, you can go over there and grab one of those and take it to the front and pay for it. You know, it's $2. But excuse me. With this thing, it had a very unique power box. So this didn't just, you couldn't just go online and buy whatever plugs into this, or maybe you could. But whoever turned this in, I knew whoever turned this monitor in probably turned in the power supply for this monitor, which had these speakers on it. So I got to looking at the back of it, and I read all the information, and I went over to where they have all their cables hung up, and I went through everything until I found the power supply that was turned in with this monitor and speakers. You know, some people will do that. They'll donate stuff to Goodwill, and they'll put the cord in one box, and they'll put the other, or they'll put it all together, and whoever's sorting the stuff will take and throw the cord over with the cord pile. They'll throw the monitor over in the monitor pile. And this is something I've always done at Goodwill. No one's ever said anything, and does not bother my conscience. Is if I buy some oddball piece of electronic gear and the power supply is somewhere else in the store, I will hook the power supply up to the item, bring the item up front They never charged me 99 cents extra for the plug or what. And when I bought this monitor, I already knew I had a VGA plug at the house, and I knew I had a power cord for the monitor at the house, so I didn't bother getting that. But I did go get the power supply for these speakers. I went through the line, $6.99 for the monitor. They did not charge me 99 cents extra for getting the power supply. So now we're going to try this one more time. Oh. And yeah, that passes right over it. In case you were wondering, that's the reason I didn't want those speakers on there. And I guess, you know, the only thing that's going to do for me is that if I decide that I want to put the monitor over here, you know, where I can have that monitor monitoring what's on that computer, I can still, you know, use my laptop right here while I'm monitoring that computer. See, when I open up my laptop, it just automatically comes on, and it is pretty cool. Yeah, this is going to be nice. Ooh, I'm excited about playing with my computer now. In any case, I guess I need to go get a wrench and tighten that down and plug all my electrical wires in. Actually, I had to order one. I know that the one wire for the power for the computer is short enough that if somebody were to go behind the chair, they'd pull the whole thing over. And that was one of the things about putting this on this table. Is that I wanted to make sure that this thing was heavy enough that this stuff wouldn't make it top heavy and flip over. So we will check that right now, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be heavy enough, because this is a really, really heavy little table. Made out of real wood, bought around 1980 or so. Oh yeah, you break the computer before you pull a table over. But it can be done. You'd really have to be trying to do it though. Alright, I'm happy with it. Yeah, all I got to do now. So there you go. You get to see the Sustenance and Covering World Headquarters, new World Headquarters coming into operation and being constructed today. And hopefully we'll, if I get all this hooked up today and I don't get involved in something else, I will do a little bit of practice with the editing program. I've got a few videos set up that I can watch my videos on this laptop right here while trying out the editing hardware with my wireless keyboard and that monitor. So we can be learning on one computer and actually putting it into operation on the other computer. Anyways, we'll get back with you as soon as we figure out how to start making some real TV shows again. And as always, if you do not wish to survive, do not listen to me.